Today I'll be talking about one of my favorite tactical FPS games on Steam, that being Ground Branch, which is an early access indie tactical shooter developed by some of the same devs that worked on the older Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon games. It's still being made by a pretty small indie team, however their credentials make me pretty hopeful for the game's future. This game has been around for a while. It's been in early access since 2018, and throughout that time I've been watching its development pretty closely. I think right now it is finally in a state where I am willing to talk about it on the channel. I wanted to wait for the game to be a little more polished before I made a video on it. Anyways, Ground Branch is a single player and co-op PvE game. Now, PvP is in this game. Some people do host servers for it. However, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not heavily supported, and if you purchase this game for that reason, you'll likely be dissatisfied. We may see this get further developed in the future, but as of right now, it's just not worth talking about. Anyways, the modes that are available include Terrorist Hunt and Intel Retrieval, which are pretty standard for PvE games similar to this one. Personally, I prefer playing T-Hunt. I think it's just a more fun experience, but it's nice to have options. Anyways, one of this game's biggest features is in its in-depth customization. Specifically, the character customization is unlike any other tactical shooter. Not only do you have the ability to change what your character brings to the battlefield, but you have the ability to rearrange the positions of things like magazine pouches, reposition grenades, and maneuver where equipment is attached to your chest rig. And there's a ton more to this. You can pretty much customize everything on your character, and this adds so much to the realism, and it helps to make your character feel like your own. The weapon customization also goes to this degree. Not only do you get to choose your attachments, but you also get to alter the position of these attachments throughout the rails on your weapon system. For example, if you want to block your vision with a tac light in front of your sight, you can do this. This helps Ground Branch to stand out from the crowd. You can easily spend hours playing around in the customization in this game. It allows you to pretty much do whatever you want. On the topic of weapon customization, you also have a massive selection of weapons to choose from. Currently, there are 29 guns to choose from, 8 SMGs, 2 shotguns, 14 assault rifles, 4 DMRs, and 1 LMG. All of them being pretty iconic weapons, and they are modeled extremely well. Animations in this game are smooth for pretty much every weapon, which, speaking of animations, one of my favorite mechanics in this game was the different types of reloads. When you reload your weapon, you can choose to either double tap your reload button to do an emergency reload, which is faster, but you drop your magazine, losing it permanently, or you can just do a normal reload, which saves your magazine, but is a slower reload. Anyways, on top of the great customization and weapon options, there's also an amazing selection of maps. Some of the maps that stand out the most to me are the Oil Rig, which has 4 levels with tons of rooms for you to clear enemies from. This map has a ton of opportunities for both close quarters engagements and long range engagements. And visually, this map looks incredible as well. It's probably the best looking map in this game. Also, there is a map that is an exact replica of Osama bin Laden's compound. This seems to be the level that is the most famous considering the history of it. And just from the information made public, this seems to be a pretty accurate representation of it. However, I think my favorite map right now is the Boeing 747 map. It has a ton of opportunities to play at range, and once you've cleared the enemies outside and made your way into the plane, everything starts to get really tight and close quarters. This map kind of has the best of both worlds. You can have some fun engaging enemies at range, and then you can go into some of the close quarters combat that makes the game so fun. But another thing I almost forgot to mention is that in T-Hunt, if you don't want to play the whole map, you can just break it down into chunks. Let's say you want to play on the Oil Rig, which is one of the biggest maps in the game, but you don't want to have to clear the entire map. Well, you can choose to lock off parts of the maps and force enemies to spawn in specific floors or specific areas. This allows you to make your matches quicker, and it also allows for a more casual experience. I definitely prefer the smaller variants than their full-size counterparts when playing solo, because trying to clear something like Oil Rig on your own is really difficult. Also, one last thing to mention with the maps and Ground Branch is their ability to be played at any time of day. This allows you to take advantage of the night vision in this game. Me personally, I don't like playing with night vision in this game because it can be taxing on your eyes, so I don't have much gameplay of it. However, it is a really cool feature, and it's one of the best NVG systems I've seen. It also just helps to add on to the replayability of the maps. Now for the movement in this game, Ground Branch gives you the ability to change your weapon's resting position, which isn't present in a lot of other games similar to this. Basically, this system allows you to use the scroll wheel to change where your character holds their gun, and each position serves a different role. There is the resting position, which allows you to sprint faster and to rest your arms, and then there is a high ready and low ready stance. High ready allows you to better hit fire and allows for quicker ADS. Low ready allows you to perform better in close quarters and allows for quicker ADSing as well. Ground Branch also has an arm strength system that is directly related to the weapon resting position. This basically means that the longer you ADS or the more you hold your weapon at the ready position, the more sway you'll see in your aim. This is another thing that adds on to the incredible realism of this game. If you couldn't tell by now, there is a lot of attention to detail that has went into this game. Also, with just the content in this game right now, I definitely don't think you'll be disappointed if you decide to purchase this game, especially if you're a fan of tactical shooters. There's plenty of maps and guns with way more to come. There are also mods available in this game. However, this modding community is quite small, and from what I can tell, there isn't anything crazy being created just yet. I hope that we'll see some cool stuff come out of the modding community, but we'll have to see over time. Now, I do have some complaints for the game, my biggest one being the AI. The AI in this game just isn't great. They'll run towards your gunfire or out from cover when it's clearly unsafe. Also, on smaller maps, they'll try to all funnel through the same doorway. It kind of reminds me of the early days of Ready or Not, which Ready or Not recently had a massive update that gave it some of the most intelligent AI I've played against. To be fair to the devs of Ground Branch, they have put AI updates on their roadmap, so hopefully we can see some major improvements there. Keep in mind, this isn't at all a experience killer because of the sheer difficulty of this game, but it still can hurt the realism. While I do enjoy Ground Branch and I definitely think it's a good game, I still believe that Ready or Not is my favorite tactical shooter. The AI in Ground Branch needs some work to better compete with Ready or Not. I think Ground Branch has a lot of potential, and I can't wait to see where the developers can take this game. And for the price of $30, I definitely think it's worth your time. But if you're wanting to spend money on a tactical shooter, I would definitely recommend Ready or Not more than this game, which I've already done a video on it. So if you want to go check that out, I'll have a card in the top right of the screen. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, I would appreciate it if you consider subscribing. I'm trying to hit 3K subs by the end of the year, and your sub can make a dent in that number. If I haven't earned your sub yet, you can go and watch this video, which is the Ready or Not video that I mentioned just a second ago. And anyways, I'll see you next time, friends. Peace.